Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. Stuff and things. Oh my god. Microphone's working first time this time. Strange that. Hello, hello. Feedback's a bit low into the to the headphones, but other than that, we're doing good. Chair is too far back. Come on, click. There we go. Now we can sit up straight. Got my morning monster. Help narrate with energy. This really isn't coming through clearly. It's very, very weird. Hello? That's better. That's not working. Hello. Ah, there we go. That's better. I can hear me now. How is everyone today? Hope everyone's doing well. Ready for a new day of recording? An April Fool's Day of recording, and boy, am I a fool. Yes, a fool. Changed my setup a little. Moved the stuff around so that I got the teleprompter, because I wasn't happy with last night's video. So we got the teleprompter in above my screen. So when I'm looking at you, I'm actually looking at the teleprompter. Hello. So we have that. I could even, in theory, put chat here, but then just it's backwards, which doesn't help. Oh, thank you, thank you. It is my anniversary, my wedding anniversary. I have already eaten some of my wedding anniversary donuts. Not the healthiest choice, but, you know, some days you gotta take it. So, yeah, the setup's a bit weird. So I shouldn't have to look over there, but I keep looking over there, because that's habit. I also look off-center because it's just the physics of my table. Oh, excuse me. Yes, it only does come around once a year. So that's good. It's good. Just making sure everything is good with the settings. So in theory, I do have 3 screens now, which is good. Good. I am going to have to lower this microphone to about here. Probably. There we go. Thank you, Nigel Smith. Much appreciated. So did we all enjoy last night's video? Seeing the making of and then the final product? Teleprompter can be moved over that way a bit. Or my screen can be moved over that way a bit. Thank you very much, Grog. Fair enough. So, I mean, we don't have daylight savings here, so I'm doing everything at my normal time. And apparently daylight savings changed recently, so it's news to me. Right. So, interesting thing I just noticed, because I got the combined chat on this screen. But I have the YouTube chat on that screen. And the message from Grog didn't appear in my combined chat. That's very, very... Not a problem, Nigel. It's there. Really? Okay. Sorry, just having the two chats is weird. There's like a 10 or 20 second delay between the two. Thank you, Zephyr. Much appreciated. So today I'm not going to forget to take off my glasses, because if you can see, when I look at the teleprompter, you can see the light reflecting off my glasses, which is why I normally don't wear them when I narrate. Yes. I do realize it's quite a bit late. What I was planning on doing is streaming it this time this week, and then next week moving it an hour ahead and seeing if that helps. YouTube is complaining that it's not getting a good enough signal. I don't know why. Could be the internet. All right. Are we ready for today's recording? Now I don't have to faff around with my microphone for 15 minutes. We can move on. Do stuff. Do stuff. Dog barking. That's always good. Helps bring some character to a video. All right. There I am. She should probably be a little bit smaller. The dog is angry. Angry dog. Angry. No. Make it a little smaller. In the corner. Hello, hello, hello. There we go. Right. I'm glad you enjoyed that. My eyebrows are a bit uncouth most of the time. You can kind of get that with the circle rings, and you put the camera inside the circular light. But the problem is, you're staring at a bright light for hours. Gives you a headache. Good morning, DeSoto. Hope you're doing well. So, stuff and things. Stuff and things. Excuse me. Right, so today's story is called, let's move this over here for now. And then I can look at this. Where am I going to put you? Over here. So I've got teleprompter software as well running, which by default doesn't go to the background, just lurks over everything. Don't worry, Perry, if it does start causing problems, I will stop again. Well, I'm going to have to learn Portuguese soon. I am immigrating to Portugal. So, there's that. Alright. So, we're just going to assign some voices. Let me just open up the correct spreadsheet. Wonder why I got the burps so bad. Probably the donuts fighting back. One of them was shaped like a bunny. It did not go gentle into that good night. Right. Okay. So I'm going to actually do this. move this over here. Just trying to get the screens to look decent. Move that over there. Means everybody can kind of see what's going on. Nigel, there's over 2,000 videos. It's going to be very difficult to go and get specific author stuff, especially seeing as a lot of videos consist of 2 stories from separate authors. So, I mean, the channel already has over 100 playlists, and people complain that the playlists aren't enough. So, the more playlists I add is actually not helpful because people can't find them. Because I don't want to be here anymore, and at this point, Portugal is the best choice. We've been trying to immigrate to England for 18 months. That hasn't helped, even though I am a British citizen. So we're going to Portugal. Thank you, James. Yeah, and then that's the problem. A lot of the software that helps you learn is the Brazilian one. So apparently it's very bad form to talk the Brazilian one in Portugal. Right, just posting links and stuff. Now I can close that. Close that. And then open this. Yeah, I mean, we don't do anything special, really. But I mean, we're not particularly religious, so just, you know, eating chocolate. Any day that is an excuse to eat chocolate is a good day. Right. I can make this a bit bigger, because it's cutting off. There we go. There we go, so everybody can see what I'm working on. Like that. Nice, DeSoto. Sounds like a lot of eggs. But as long as people enjoyed it, sure. I mean, I think it's pretty cool that April Fool's Day and Easter Monday fall on the same day. Hopefully a whole bunch of Catholic priests and sermons are just gonna mess with their congregations, but that's just a hope. What did I have yesterday? Can't remember. Stuff and things. Nothing special. Alright, so this is going to be M1, normal voice. Normal voice, normal voice, normal voice. This is going to be... There we go. I'll fit that over there. And then click on that. I actually don't have a voice. M18. Making a new voice. Dry, no inflection. So, robotic type voice. This will be M18. And then we're going back to M1. I think we're going to give this guy a snivelly voice. No, actually, I think we'll just give him pompous English. And I think we'll give this M6 Scottish. Why not? Quote unquote Scottish. It's always quote unquote. It's not a full Scottish accent, it's like a hint of zest Scottish accent. Just a little bit. Something like that. Male 1 is what it stands for. Just male 1. Which is my normal voice. There are currently 21 voices on my list. M3. But I've only recently given them codes. Thank you very much, Nigel Smith, for the kind words. I mean, if you do it enough, you're bound to get better at it. Just look at punk bands from the 70s. Eventually, they actually got good at music because they kept doing it, whether they wanted to or not. So they just kept getting better. So now they can actually be real musicians. Not that punk isn't a real music form. Yes, so yeah, I'm trying to get better at assigning voices and then remembering them. But I haven't really done it before, simply because my voice was not consistent day to day. So I couldn't say, for instance, this story is going to use this voice because I may not be able to do that voice. Also, some voices I couldn't do at the end of the day, and some voices I could only do at the beginning of the day. So that's part of the inconsistency of what I had. But hopefully, that is a thing of the past. With the operation. But we only fully know once all the physio. Today we upgraded the bottle, which is cool. So we've gone one higher level, so it adds more resistance. I don't know, and then I'm seeing the doctor next week, Monday, I want to say, and we'll see how things are looking. Right. This is M3, which is pompous. This is not a bolt. It doesn't have to be a capital. It's not a bolt size or a thread size. Of course, DeSoto. I have to. This is my living. This is how I earn my money. And the visa I'm using to get into Portugal is a foreign worker, so you have to earn international money. So YouTube is international money, which is pretty cool. M6, blah, blah, blah. M3. I mean, a lot of the considerations of where we move is based off of the YouTube channel, so I have to be close enough to civilization that I have a good internet connection, and it has to be quiet enough that I can record. Right, M6 for Scottish, M3, M6, blah, 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 blah. M6. I know it says British here, but I think a Scottish accent works a lot better. A Scot wouldn't call themselves British, although technically they are. M3, snivelly voice. M6. M1. At some point, you guys are going to know these voices better than I am. M3, which is the pompous English voice. No, that's M6. That is the Scottish voice. This is M3, pompous English voice. Six. 3. Now, you may be wondering why I'm using code words instead of highlighting, which is what a lot of people do. Because the teleprompter software doesn't do colors. Also, I run out of colors. So when you do like 5 voices, it's easy to give everything a distinct, very easy to recognize color. But when you're doing 20 voices, you start getting into shades, which is not easy at a glance sometimes to figure out which voice it is. So I decided to use code words rather than colors. M3. M6. M3. M1. Technically DeSoto, I could, but I'd still have to pay for them. So, I mean, I think a lot of people have a weird idea about how claiming something against taxes work. It means I get a percentage of percentage back. It's not great. I mean, every little bit helps. But I don't think I've ever claimed gains, because I haven't really played them. So yeah, technically anything I use for work could be considered a work expense. Oops. M6. M1. M6. No? Yes. Jack. Kind of makes me want to do it like a Captain Jack voice. But we'll stick with Scottish. Right. M3. M6. M1. M3. M1. M3. M6. I wonder if that's just a language thing. Holstered. Holstered. Holstred. That's correct spelling. I don't know. Open office is acting weird. Holstered. Whatever. M3. Blah, 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 blah. M6. Dark forest, blah, blah, blah. M1. M3. It's good, this seems to only have 3 voices in it. 4. If you include the... ship's voice. Itchy nose. The moustache fights back. Yeah. Only when the camera's on, though. When the camera's off, it's not bad. Maybe I do need to gel down my moustache. Okay. M3. Laws, blah, blah, blah. M6. Blah, blah, blah. M3. M6. M6. M3. M6. So I wasn't able to figure out how to get the scrolling text or the text on the screen while I narrate, and then record the raw video for editing. So unfortunately, there's not going to be any text when I narrate. M3. M6. M1. M6. M3. M6. M1. M3. M6. This is the exciting part of the job. Not only is my moustache camera shy, but my eyebrows are aggressive. So my hair is just its own ecosystem. Yeah, it's Schrodinger's moustache. When it's not observed, it's fine. But when you... No, that's Heisenberg's principle. It's a Heisenberg moustache. So when it's not observed, it's fine. When it is observed, it is itchy. M6. M3. M6. Right, I probably should have said this, but there is spoilers. If you don't want to know what happens in tonight's story, you probably want to step out. Just watch the video. I understand. M3. Da-da-da-da. M6. Da-da-da-da. Nope. That is M3 again. Ooh. That threw me for a loop. Almost had the wrong voice there. Da-da-da. M3. M6. End of story. End of story. Go. Yes, it is definitely a willfully rebellious moustache and eyebrows. Definitely. I find the moustache is worse with food than the beard. That's why I trim it so that it doesn't go over the lip. Makes it a little easier. Okie dokie. We are now ready to paste it into my super special software for prompting, teleprompting. All that does is it mirrors the thing, so when I put it on the screen for reading, it is the right way around. Are we looking good? I need to move this over here so I can see. And then we're going to here. I'm off center. There we go. That's very weird. Camera's pointed in a weird direction. All right. Time to sit up straight and look professional. So this new chair is a pain in the rear. It's got very loose wheels, not loose, smooth wheels, so it rolls very easily. So I have to always try and get the wheel stuck in one of the grout of the tiles so that I don't keep rolling backwards. Good evening, Moxie. I hope you're doing well. All right. We have everything set up. We don't have everything set up. We need that set up. Right. So we are recording the raw video for the video, which means time for the glasses to take a break. Do you see? I should have a bit of a twinkle in my eye because of the light, which will probably give me a headache, but it's fine. This is the normal. Yes, they should have parking brakes. Definitely need parking brakes. Okay, so time to do some narration. Time to work, I say. All right, we're going to record. And we're going to record. Greetings, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to this latest version. Nope. Greetings, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to this latest edition of Tales from Outer Space, where I take stories from across the internet and read them for your entertainment. This particular story is called All I Ever Hear Is What If, written by Random 3X. Thomas sat in the passenger seat of the shuttle as it made its way to the mining and research outpost, Alpha. Okay, that does make sense. Thomas sat in the passenger seat of the shuttle as it made its way to the mining and research output P Alpha, a place built long before Thomas was even born, established by the United Solar Government rule. Established as the United Solar Government ruled, no mining of objects visible from the occupied worlds was permitted, especially after the helium-3 mining scar that now marked the moon's far side. He was ostensibly here just for a standard inspection, ensure the lone crewman who lived and operated in the state. Ensure the lone crewman who lived and operated He was ostensibly here for a standard inspection, ensure the lone crewman who lived here, operated the station, was following the protocol. Ensure the lone crewman who lived and operated the station was following protocol, though it was because of weird readings the site's AI had sent, a report that the man was up to something odd. Why the company even sent a lone crewman always confused Thomas. Humanity, being such a social species, prolonged isolation seemed more detrimental to profits than sending another few crew. Regardless of his personal opinion, he could see the station now. It was a sight that he'd seen countless times. The company often just used the same flat-pack station that could be easily assembled regardless of the environment. However, it was his first time seeing this one. It was his first time seeing the one that was furthest away. Docking. Docking procedure beginning. Please collect all belongings from the shuttle before disembark. The ship's automated system was announced through the speakers. With a loud hiss and metallic clank, the airlock slowly opened to reveal a man standing there, with his arms out as if ready to embrace Thomas in a hug. Dr. Jack, I presume. No. Dr. Jack, I presume. Lost my mouse. Mouse. Dr. Jack, I presume. Who? The man asked, tilting his head. Never been a Jack. Never been a Jack here, might be the other guy. Other guy? Thomas repeated, only to see the mischievous grin. Yeah, it's me. The only one and only Dr. Jack. Forgive the humor. I rarely get a chance to talk to people who aren't on the screen. Gesturing to allow Thomas to step past him, he spun on his heel and began to lead the way. I just noticed, but the gravity feels off here. Shouldn't we be almost bouncing? Experimental gravity field generators. Part of the research I'm working on while here, Jack explained, doing a little jump. Can only manage 0.9 G, which might be why it feels just slightly off, he added, pinching his fingers close together. So, I'm here to inspect the helium-3 production system and the Kuiper Belt mining drones. Hearing this, Jack turned to face Thomas. Be honest, please. The air filters here aren't good at scrubbing bullshit. Pardon? I know why you're really here. I have not missed my quota once, even between experiments. I have sent back numerous reports detailing all the maintenance and projected fuel manufacturing. I have even reported when the bloody kettle stopped working. Thomas paused a step, shocked to see Jack's vitriol towards the kettle issue. Sorry about that. British and tea and all. He gave a light-hearted chuckle, as if to brush his outburst. Sorry about that. British and tea and all. He gave a light-hearted chuckle, as if to brush his outburst under the rug. So, why do you think I am here? Thomas asked, wondering if the psych hold might be best for the doctor. Simple because Gertie went and told teacher about me. Thomas paused once more to look at Jack. He was under the impression that the message the AI had sent was well encrypted. To think that he was aware of it worried him. You didn't know I read it. It's simple enough when you have an endless free time. What is a month spent decrypting when you have nothing better to do while automated experiments do their thing? So, you know Gertie identified anomalies. Yes. That is how she worded it. A smirk grew in his face. Between us, I think Gertie wants me to succeed. Succeed at what? The big announcement. Announcing what? Thomas pressed as he moved his hand towards his stun bolter. We are here, of course. Retreating half a step back towards the airlock and now idle shuttle, Thomas drew his gun bolter at the short outburst. Doctor, please explain. You know of the Fermi paradox, right? Thomas nodded. Everyone nowadays knows about it. The idea the universe is so vast that the possibility of life not existing was statistically impossible. So, where is everybody? Jack asked. Thomas did not have an answer. No one did. The best suggestion that he even submitted to was the Great Filter. Maybe the Great Filter? No! I do not accept the Great Filter. Even if there was a point in a timeline, all species may wipe themselves out. Infinity is too large not to have an endless species. Jack explained agitatedly, pacing back and forth. Then, I don't know. Thomas paused to take a deep breath to calm himself. Can we calm down a bit and discuss this like civilized people? You're the one that threw his weapon, Jack pointed out, conceding the point. He holstered the stun bolter. My point is that even with a filter, we would still... Oh, that's the wrong person. That's supposed to be Scottish. My point is that even with a filter, we should still have been inundated with at least a little something. Thomas nodded, hoping to keep the clearly broken man from any further outbursts. So, what about the dark forest, then? Thomas paled, now realizing his meaning. Sorry, I'm just checking to see if I missed something. Good evening, Wolfos. I hope you're doing well. So, what about the dark forest then? Thomas paled, now realizing his meaning. The dark forest was the idea that all advanced species feared discovery. The analogy is that we were all hunters in a dark forest, and the moment someone makes a noise, the hunters will all shoot. So, when you said announce, you meant to plan... So, when you said announce, you meant to... So, when you said announce, you meant you planned to declare our existence to the universe. Jack nodded with a genuine grin. Exactly! We'll shout out to the universe, here we are! And we are friends! Thomas watched as Jack spread his arms out as if to accept rapturous applause. Thomas watched as Jack spread out his arms as if to accept a rapturous applause. Surely you know about the ordinances, the laws the USG put down. Oh yes. No unshielded communications. It is a shame they bought into the idea. It is a shame they bought into the idea. We are all rabbits surrounded by wolves. Listen, it is not too late. We can put up now. Listen, it's not too late. We can just put this up to some void fever and get you some treatment. You don't need to go ahead with this. You mean this? Jack asked, gesturing to a podium with a large red button that began rising from the floor. Thought it would be more dramatic, he explained with a bashful grin. Immediately drawing the stun bolter once more, Thomas took aim. Please, I don't want to do this. I understand, but why are you so opposed to the idea of announcing us to the universe? Why is everyone? Well, if they are dangerous. What if they're all dangerous beings? What if they enslave us? Well, what if they're all dangerous beings? What if we are enslaved or destroyed? What if announcing us brings calamity? What if? That's all I ever heard when I discussed this with others. But let me ask you this. What if they are friendly? What if, like us, all species have empathy and transcend species? What if, like us, all species have empathy that transcends species? He paused to take a deep breath as he finished with a whisper. What if everyone is just too scared to take the first step? Now, I understand your frustration. Wrong voice. Now, I understand your frustration, but this is illegal. I will shoot you if I must, Doctor. Shoot me if I do this. Shoot me if I do this. Thomas watched as Jack moved his hand towards the red button, only for him to fire the stun bolt and send the doctor into spasms before collapsing to the floor. He'll get you the help you need, Doctor. Sure you will, he replied through gritted teeth. I'm sure our friends amongst the universe will also love to help. What do you mean? I broadcast the day after Gertie sent the message. The red button was just for a disco light setting I installed to amuse myself. Oh God, Thomas repaled. The dark forest silence had been broken. You know, Doctor, if they do end up being violent enemies. You know, Doctor, If they do end up being violent enemies, your name will go down as one of the greatest villains, if not the greatest humanity ever produced. Well, I will accept that. But I believe whatever comes, if it does, we can befriend it. If that does happen, I will be declared a hero. You really have gone crazy, maybe. But it is the maddest of our species that boldly takes those steps forward. End of story. Okay. Yeah, I mean, it went silent for a good while, random 3x, but he seems to be back. I'm glad it helps Wolfos. Okay, so that was story 1. Good evening, OBS. I hope you're doing well. I just need to change something. Display settings. The third screen is over there. Cool. Awesome. I'm going to stop recording and silence. Cool. I'm just going to do a bit of the editing, so I'm going to cut the music off so you don't hear all the bings. But you'll still be able to hear me. I'm doing noise reduction. Exciting stuff. We're doing amplification. We're doing noise removal. Then we're doing compression. Then we are doing a ACX analysis of this, and then minusing some amplitude. Yeah, that's good. And thus we are done. Save project as. We can turn the background music back on, now that all the binging sounds are finished. There we go. This is episode 2352, 1 of 2, and it is called All I Ever Hear Is What If, minus all these special characters. Because in the year 2024, there is software that can't handle special characters in the titles of stories or files. And then we export it. Right. That's story number 1. Number 2 is going to be quite short. We tried to get along. Right. Written by Ouijan Warrior. This is also quite a prolific author. Yep. And a story. Right. Thankfully, The story only has one voice, so I shall probably just do it in my normal voice. Oh, itchy nose, itchy nose. This time it's not the moustache's fault. Alright. I think we'll go with actually M2. I like to make diplomats sort of sound more aged and wizened, whether they are or not. So this is old man voice. Old man voice. No, we're not talking about a bolt. M1, M2, M1. Did I change back? No, I didn't change back. So I'm just... There we go. My bad, I do apologize. Yomogami, good morning. I hope you're doing well on this fantastic April Fool's Day. M1. M1. No, that's not M1, that's M2. That's M2. I'll confuse myself. This is M1. And then M2. Cool. Like I said, very short story. Pushes us over the 10-minute mark for the video. Probably closer to 13, 14 minutes. And yeah, exciting stuff. Paste it into the software. Move the software up. There we go. Change the screen. So we're recording like this. Right. Just change this to a bit higher, like that. And there we go. The swing arm is now removed. And we're still getting my voice to a degree. Hello. Move that over there. I like to have my microphone off center, personally. It helps with plosives. So, even though I have this, it's just a habit. OVS on an average day, I normally, or before surgery, was doing an hour and a half of finished content. So probably 5-6 times what I've just done, or what I'll do today. I thought people might be interested. It's also a nice chat stream if people have questions. So it's not like I'm just working and ignoring chat. We're gonna have a chat. I think my camera is slightly skew. Yeah. Don't know. My setup's a bit janky. Maybe someday I'll afford a better setup. Right, story number next. Just make everything is good. Recording. Story number 2. We Tried to Get Along, written by Ouijan Warrior. We Tried to Get Along, written by Ouijan Warrior. Ambassador Josh checked the seals on his survival suit for the last time before striding down onto the floor of the Galactic Council. This would be his last time here, he knew, but he had pleaded for one last chance to address the Council before the human delegation would have to leave for the last time. Hundreds of visual sensory organs belonging to dozens of different species tracked his process down the shadow ramp. Hundreds of manipulating appendages tweaked the settings on the auto-translators. Hundreds of auditory receptors would listen to the last message Terra would ever deliver to the ancient assembly. Most of them assuming that it would be a last plea for a council seat, some expecting a curse for not being given one. Josh waited in the center of the hall until the Tri-D cameras had a good view of him. He knew without looking that a much larger-than-life hologram would be projected above him, letting everyone get a good look at whoever was speaking on the floor of the council. He looked around at the dozens of delegations around him, slowly starting to smile. And we see. Yeah, so Riven, why I'm using a teleprompter, it doesn't show color, so I can't use colors. And it's basically just a notepad is essentially the function it has. So using code words is pretty much the only way to do it. Thank you, Wolfos. Yes, okay. He looked around at dozens of delegates around him, slowly starting to smile. We tried to get along. That was Josh. Sure it was Josh, not Just. Yes, Josh. We tried to get along, Josh started, deliberately ignoring the traditional observation. Josh started, deliberately ignoring the traditional observances of greeting the council. We tried to be friendly. We tried sharing our technology, culture, and history. Although, in hindsight, the last bit was perhaps a mistake. The other delegates shifted and looked at each other. This was not the last plea that they had expected. This wasn't even polite. We tried teaching you, all of you, about biochemical barriers, Josh continued as his smile grew wider. We tried to explain about left-handed and right-handed amino acids. We tried to explain, sometimes in very simple words, that eating you would make a human sick or even dead. This time, all the delegates shifted uncomfortably. To talk about eating other sentient beings was beyond rude, even if it was in the negative. But you insisted that we are predators, killers. You insisted that we are untrustworthy. Excuse me. You insisted that we are untrustworthy. You insisted that we are a danger to the galaxy. That because we are predators, we want to rule over prey species. Josh spun around to take in every single being in the Great Hall, all of them descending from herbivores. So be. The delegates kept looking at each other, kept fiddling with their translators, kept looking everywhere else than Josh. Kept looking everywhere else than on Josh and his grinning mouth full of teeth. We will become killers, hunting you, not for food, but for fun. Since we cannot consume you, Josh snapped out, his eyes seemingly boring into each and every Xeno present. We will become untrustworthy because you do not wish to be our equal. We will become a danger to every species in the galaxy, every species that insists to be prey. Josh chuckled to himself as he reached into his hidden pocket in his survival suit, bringing out a kinetic slug thrower, slowly spinning it. Slowly spinning so it pointed at each delegation in turn. And we will rule over you through fear and terror, like a wolf circling a flock of sheep. Happy? Happy? No. Happy? Happy? There we go. Happy! End of story. That one's a short one, just a little bit at the end there, so that it's a 10-minute video. Stop recording, step recording, and edit. We can go back to sitting in space. Right. Yeah. Anthony was funny. Unfortunately, nothing I can do about it. I don't even have an update how the Audible narration's going. I think it has been released for Chrysalis. Right, and name. So I suppose story is about if you treat somebody as a baddie for long enough, they eventually do become the baddie, because why not? Or something like that. I'm not one for reading morals into stories. Well, I mean, most people would probably just run the 24-hour stream for background noise. This isn't chroma key. This is AI, background removal tool. So what it does is it picks the foreground and background. This it's seeing as both foreground and background, which is why it's doing the weird thing. This is the NVIDIA background remover. So you can see when I sit still, it doesn't do anything, but if I do this, where is it? You can see that it's struggling to differentiate between foreground and background. The problem with the one that fits right behind your thing is lighting it becomes a problem. If you look here, we have pretty consistent lighting on the green screen so that it can chroma key. But if I move my hand back here, you can see there's lots of light, so that I don't cast a shadow on the green screen from the light that's in front of me. I can put my glasses back on now. Yeah. Right, I think that is it for recording. We can do some chatting. Probably also do some cleaning of the glasses, because now I've got a smudge on it. Ow. No, it's not. The Chrysalis recording is not AI. It is done by a studio and done by people, as far as I understand it. Several people, as far as I know. No. Still, it's got a smudge on it. Well, I'm glad that I brightened your day a little bit, Jeremy. Thank you, Kaza. Or Kaze, whichever one you prefer. It's not only YouTube that I did it, it's because I saw AI becoming a problem. So I wanted to ensure that everybody knew that I was human. And I think with body language and stuff, you can tell a better story. So that was it. There are lots of reasons, but it was one of the reasons was AI. Or AI type stuff. So it proves that, well, it tries to prove that I am a human. Whether that succeeds or not is a different story. Because technically, reading text on screen only is against the TOS. So, lots of reasons to show my face. Yeah, I need to place the... It's not necessary. This one's a bit much. Oh. That one's fine. That light just needs to be adjusted a bit. It's because I had to change the setup I was using. The overhead light was just enough in the way I was setting, but the screen was over in this direction, which was uncomfortable to do a stream in. So I've shifted everything around, so I just need to get the lighting right. Although the screen and the screen are close enough that the chroma key in the editing software can pick it up. I might remove the headrest. I don't really use it. Yeah, I mean, that can happen. I think it's just because I picked it up with my finger. It's got a thumbprint. Oh, thank you. I try to keep it nice. Although I got trimmed by mistake. Well, not by mistake. I was at the barber one of the few times I've been to a barber. And he did the hair and everything. He's like, no, do you want me to trim your beard? I'm like, okay, cool. Could use a bit of a trim. It's got some, bits sticking out everywhere. And he trimmed it shorter. It was just like, wow, that's not what I wanted. So, there we go. It took a good couple months to grow it back. Same with the moustache. I had to shave that for the sinus operation. The vocal cords are doing fine. I mean, we're still doing the physio, which I think I'll just keep doing once the physio is completed, because it seems to strengthen the vocal cords. That's also part of the reason why my vocal cords are a bit tired, is today was an upgrade to the resistance. So they're a little bit more tired than they should be. It's very crazy that 30 people are watching me. Oh yeah, the caption software they use just doesn't like my accent and the voices. Look, you can get away with being a faceless channel. Lots of people have. I mean, statistically, it's easier if you have a face to the channel, but hell, I was first 2.5 years, 3 years? 3 years, I was a faceless channel. So, I mean, it's possible. Cool, Wolfos. I hope your paperwork goes quickly. So, I mean, the barrier to entry for streaming and videos is very low. So you just have to do more than the average person, and you'll eventually get somewhere. But there is a lot of frustration in the beginning, because whether it's streaming or YouTube, getting people to watch you, and that's the problem, even if you're doing something interesting. So it's all about finding your audience. But if you're going to have fun doing it, just do it. But remember, I mean, you behave and act differently on camera, and you have to be very comfortable with the microphone. A lot of new people are very tense with the microphone, and you can tell by the way they act on the camera and the way that they sound in the microphone. The Captain No Name, yeah, I think it's getting better, but TTS and STT, I don't know what STT is. Let's see, STT sounds like a disease. It is a stock. Securities and trading. I don't think that's what you're talking about. Engineering systems, securities trading, spelling assistance, speech to text. Yeah. Okay. Look, I mean, it's getting better. Both text to speech and speech to text. That's true, James, but I think some of the TTS channels have been taking the work without the author's approval. If you see it and you think that the channel is doing that, then maybe get the author involved. It's not an easy thing to do. Yes, and it's a happy anniversary for me, April Fool's Day. I think it's 10 years. No? Close to 10 years. 9 years. 8 years. I don't know. You can manually caption a video. It is a pain, because you have to have like timestamps for every caption. It's a lot of work to add captions in. If I did, I'd probably do multiple languages, but like I said, it's rough. But I mean, I've got the scrolling text, so I don't really need captioning in the final video. Thumbnail disorder? What are we talking about? Fuzzy lips. Yeah. Yes, James, it is. I've personally spoken in front of large groups of people and in front of a camera, but getting over the idea that people are actually watching you, it can be a bit nerve-wracking. And just knowing that you're being observed changes your behavior. So you need to learn to deal with it, just get used to it, and then become more natural in front of a camera. That's why new actors and or streamers and or video YouTubers, they seem to be very stiff, because they're very aware of the camera and what's being sent. So it's those who can get over that and be natural tend to succeed more. Good morning, Zorima. I hope you're doing well. Fair enough. I bought the gift, which is anniversary donuts. So, on our wedding day, we had a wedding at our house. Thankfully, we knew somebody who could perform the wedding, a non-religious wedding. So we had a braai, or as the Americans and British call it, a barbecue. So just lots of meat and just a nice day out. And then for our wedding cake, we had donuts. So now it's a tradition that on our wedding anniversary, we get donuts. Well, I'm glad that helped, Kaza. And it's good to see you again as well, Zorima. Good morning, Yamagami. Hope you're doing well. I suppose should be on this one. So that we're not staring at a green screen. Fair enough, Jeremy, but in here we only have like good donuts would be Krispy Kreme. Most of the other places don't do good donuts. So, I mean, a lot of the before Krispy Kreme opened up 20 years, most bakeries did offer donuts, but they were the not great kind. It's kind of like very heavy, very solid, made out of like, I think, bread dough or something similar. And then they had very, very cheap icing. So, it was like... So... I would get hot cross buns instead of donuts if I was going to a normal bakery here. Hey, don't mock a good braai. South Africa, braaiing is a national sport and most people take part in it. A nice good charcoal braai. It's a good afternoon. Cooking your meat. Braai vlees. Braai vlees. Yeah. Oh, I'm good. I'm glad, Wolfos, that the paperwork wasn't too much. No. Why are you playing? It's not New Year's, it's April Fool's. Although that would have been funny. Just keep playing Old Lang Syne and pretend that today is New Year's Day instead of April Fool's Day. Just wishing everybody a good New Year. Well, Happy New Year to you. I hope you have a fantastic year. What are your resolutions for the year? Just keep doing that for the whole day. Just have that song playing on loop in the background. Just confuse everybody. Good morning, Bombardic. It's still morning? It is still morning. I hope you're doing well. Recovery's coming along. Physio has reached stage 3, I suppose. Going to the doctor again next week, Monday, but definitely doing okay for recording. Voice is not 100%. Stamina is definitely not there. So I think for the next week or 2 or 3, maybe, we'll probably only be doing 1 TFOS a day. And then you'll see how that goes. Not a problem, RVB. I mean, it is middle of the day. It's not easy. Fair enough, Jeremy. $5 a.m. It's not too bad. Well, I say that. I'm not a morning person. Well, I don't normally voluntarily wake up at 5 a.m. Although I do normally wake up at like 7, 6. I haven't started working on another story yet, Mark. I mean, I might. But the last couple months has just been focusing on the voice and going into surgery and now recovering. Thank you very much, Grog, and a happy new year to you too. I hope you have a fantastic year and that all your resolutions come true. And with ease and entertainment. Fair enough, Captain No Name. Look, without drugs, my sleep schedule is that. By drugs, I mean like a prescription sleeping medication. If I don't take my sleeping medication, I might maybe decide to go to bed like 2 o'clock in the morning, maybe. Just because I need to go to bed, not because I'm tired. And then I'll wake up at like 5. And then by 2 o'clock, I go for a nap. And then carry on. Which is a problem for the voice. You need a good 8 hours sleep so the voice can recover and relax and all that stuff. Okay, Jeremy. I mean, I understand if you work night shift. I mean, I completely understand it. Look, up until I started this channel, my sleep schedule was a roulette wheel of when I sleep or not. Well, it is currently 11:21 for me in the morning. Yeah, I mean, I didn't work third shift, but I did a lot of overtime work in my early 20s. So that really messed up with my sleep schedule, worse than it was before, and also my eating schedule. So I get like hungry at 10 o'clock at night, which is not good for my acid reflux. What do I think of my narration of The Survivor Becomes Dungeon? I hope that it's good. I try my best. I do enjoy the story. Not so much the narration, because I don't listen to my own narrations after the whole editing and stuff. That's not good, Grog. It really sucks when you don't get enough sleep. Just checking settings and stuff over there. Not ignoring you guys, don't worry. I suppose I could move this. Nope, I can't. It's backwards and too small. That's one dead can. That sucks, Jeremy. But I suppose once you get used to it, it kind of becomes normal. Yeah, I think as humans, we can get used to any schedule eventually. It may not be good for us long term, but we can get used to it. That was a doorbell. I wonder what's being delivered. I'll be right back. Just give me Right, back. Took the liberty of taking my jacket off. Seeing as we're not narrating. Got my ears back in. It was just a random broom salesman trying to sell some brooms. Not broom brooms, as in cars, just normal broom. It actually happens here quite regularly. I think it's on his route. Sure. It's a whole bunch of... It's, like small brooms, outside brooms. How's the other one? What did you call it? Traditional broom, which is made out of straw. Yeah, it's just general brooms. No name brand Chinese knockoff brooms. Not that that matters, because most brooms are no name brand Chinese knockoff brooms and feather dusters. Yeah, I used to have the problem when I worked 16 hours a day. So you drive home, you just don't feel like cooking, and there's no restaurants open or fast food places open to stop and get food. The only one was a brand new, at the time, 24-hour McDonald's for me. So I'd stop and eat McDonald's most of the time because it was open, I was tired, I just wanted to go home and sleep. Soldier number 2. Apparently somebody shook this can. Look, I mean, for us, there's a lot of stuff that's 24 hours these days. Although some of them are stopping because of crime. But for a good while, there were a lot of stores, like garages that were open 24 hours a day. As long as you're not in a bad neighborhood. And McDonald's, KFC, that sort of thing. But more and more, because of load shedding and because of crime, they're stopping the 24-hour stuff a lot. Yeah, I mean, taste fatigue is real. For years, all we could afford was rice. So we had rice, one little bit of chicken, and some vegetables. And we ate that every day, 7 days a week. Thankfully, we don't have to do that anymore, but I can't stand rice to this day. If I had to eat it because of reasons, I would, but if I have a choice between rice and anything else, it's anything else, really. Getting an error with this stream on YouTube. The bitrate's too low. There's not much I can do about it. It is upset with me. What about sushi? I mean, yeah, okay. I've never been a huge sushi fan to start off with. Fried rice is fine. Just normal cooked rice is not. So anything that's like different from that. Yeah, I'm not a fan of basmati rice, but because the flavors in sushi, it's okay. Fried rice is okay because they cook it in a different way. But just plain rice is... Yeah. That's very strange that it cancelled out what you were writing. No, but I do live in South Africa, so we got curry coming out our ears. You think the Japanese like curry? Oh, we got peri peri curry, we got acha, we got all sorts of curries. We got stuff that you could use to fucking burn metal. Sort of, what is it, if you needed to recreate certain events, you could just rub some curry on it and just eat your way through a metal wall. Curry is super common here. So, no, I haven't had the Japanese curry because we have South African curry. Our curry, however, goes with pap, which is ground down mealy meal. Yeah, mealies. Corn. So it's a staple in this country, which is powdered corn, and you add boiling water, and it makes a mash type stuff, but not. And then you put some curry on that, and then you're good to go. Good morning, Nicholson. I hope you're doing well. Yes, South Africa, certain portions do the hot curry. I knew a lady when I worked in corporate, they used to put Tabasco sauce on pretty much everything, and that was just the start of the curry. That's the start of the burn. Yeah, it could be cornmeal. I don't know what the equivalent is. So we use it as just basically, a lot of the country use it as a staple instead of rice or potatoes. It's cheap, pretty cheap. It's because it's considered a staple in the country. It gets subsidies. And pap and vleis, that is a national meat. That is a national meal, pap and vleis, which is pap and meat. You could also have pap vleis and sauce, which is, if you want to go more traditional, would be a big helping of pap with a very thin, steaky type thing on top, and then a tomato onion mix sauce on top of that. That is pretty much the common meal. You can get that pretty much everywhere. So, funny story. Nando's, which some British people will know, originated in South Africa. They were famous because of their hot, super hot curry, peri peri sauce, which is not doesn't have a Scoville scale because it doesn't use chili peppers. It uses a bunch of other stuff, but it is hot as fuck. So somebody had a bright idea of exporting Nando's sauce to India. And it is a novelty there because of how hot it is. It's kind of like a challenge to see how if you can stand the heat of peri peri hot sauce. Yeah. I mean, it obviously Grog depends on the restaurant, but if you say, no, I want it hot, then you're going to get it hot. They do not mess around with curries here. A lot of people mistake spicy for hot. Spicy doesn't necessarily mean hot, it just means a lot of spices. So your standard Indian curries are spicy, but not necessarily hot. Whereas South African curries are hot and spicy. Well, more hot than spicy. Wolfos, that is called pup vlees and sauce. The sauce might be onion, the mild version, which is just onion and tomato, or it could be ridiculously hot. Depends on the place. Now, I'm personally not allowed to eat curry anymore because of the acid reflux. But I enjoyed a good curry. But now we have stew. Nice. Good hearty stew on the bone, as it's meant to be. That's very true, Crusader. There are some more spicy Indian curries, but our curry is just hot. Ridiculously hot, with a little bit of spice, but mostly hot. Okay, I didn't even realize that Nando's had made it to America. Look, they make good chicken. So they're the only place around here that does flame grilled chicken rather than deep fried chicken. So it's a bit better. I used to really like getting the mild quarter chicken meal with them. It's a good meal. But such is life. Now we don't really order from. Like I said, for years we ate cheap chicken, which is its own thing, and gone. Oh, cheap chicken on rice, tastic rice. If you really want to get specific. So not a huge fan of chicken at the moment. I enjoy it more than rice, but that is what it is. It's very true, RVB. I find the texture and the taste profile of, if you want to get fancy words, of Indian curry, especially Indian curry shops, quite nice. Especially if you're not going for the super hot stuff. If you want to go for the super hot stuff, it's just hot. There's very little taste to it because it kills the taste buds. So there's no point making it deep flavored. Yeah, battery acid is a flavor. So, in some parts of Africa, they brewed their own, I'm trying to remember what the name is, their own alcohol. It's rancid milk plus a bunch of other stuff in a tub. And one of the common ingredients in it is battery acid. Actual battery acid, not bullshit. It's hot battery acid. They just put it in there to help the process. I'm trying to think of the word. To help it make it have more of a kick as an alcoholic beverage. So they had to ban that. Basically like eggnog, kind of, but with battery acid and a lot of other stuff that you probably wouldn't want to think about. Mampur, yeah, that's it. So every place has its own recipe for mampur. Battery acid is pretty common. I think some of them were also using brake fluid. I can't remember. was a whole thing at one point. Not a problem, Bombardic. Glad you popped past, and thank you for lurking. Yes, fermentation. That's what I was thinking of. Sorry, concentration's a bit screwed at the moment. Well, thank you, Tales from the Rails. Thank you for joining us on the stream. Hope you're doing well. Yeah, the alcohol percentage is ridiculous. And it looks like, when you pour it out of the thing, it looks like rancid milk. And then there's a farm meal, which I've tried once, which was, whoa. So it is, what was it? It was oats and slightly off milk. Which, they mix the two together and you eat that. And it's not great. It's one of those acquired taste things. And to quote Rowan Atkinson, any taste that I need to acquire is a taste that I don't want to eat. Moonshine's a clear alcohol, which is a distilled alcohol, as far as I understand. Mampur is not distilled. It is more like a mead, if I had to give it a process of fermenting, or a cider. But its consistency is an acquired taste. Ah, it's in Kanmazi is what I was thinking of. Mampur is a clear. It's more like a snaps. But I suppose there's so many different recipes. A Mazi is just sour milk. So you make a Mazi sour milk with a grain like oats, and you get a farm meal. Cheers, James. Thank you for popping past. I hope you have a fantastic day. I don't think I'll be on for too much longer, maybe another 10 minutes. All right. So I've downloaded all the music, well, some of the music, and I've got it on shuffle so we don't get stuck on the same song for hours. Braifles, yes. That's the best. Burrowos, mealies. We actually had some the other day. We had a nice little braai. Some fried mealies, some fried steak. Well, actually, lamb chops. Num num. De soda? Yes. Yes, it can. Tangerine. That's a citrus fruit, isn't it? Like an orange or a nachi. So, something that's very common in Africa, I don't know whether it's common in other places of the world, is sniffing glue or huffing glue. So, contact adhesive or your industrial strength adhesives have a very volatile odor, which destroys brain cells, literally. It holes into your brain. So, people huff that shit, and they get high, and they kill their brain. Doesn't stop them. It's very common in the homeless here. Especially homeless kids, which is quite heartbreaking to see them huffing glue. Butane is another one. So butane, the stuff you fill your lighters with. There are people that huff butane. They buy the canisters of refill for the lighters, and they just up the nose. It eats the nose away. Destroys their brain, again. Doesn't stop them. But butane is kind of higher level, income level, because it costs a bit more. Glue is quite cheap because you can buy it by the liter, and you don't need that much. So you can have, and you don't need to store it anyway. So you can store it in your bag, and just put a bit into a bottle, and you just huff that and destroy your brain cells. So you don't really get it a lot these days, this type of glue. It's normally the industrial glue that does it. But back in the day, it would be like, use this glue in an open environment with a swift breeze and a face mask. So it's that glue. I'm just imagining somebody walking through a forest and going, "Ooh, a toad!" Yes, you shouldn't have to warn people about that, but I suppose if it gets you high, then you'll always have people hunting toads and stuff. But the image is funny to me. Although one I heard about recently, just random, is huffing air. So you get the canisters of compressed air, oxygen, air, something like that, that you clean your computer with. And some people huff that, which I'd imagine would also kill you, because as much as we need oxygen, we don't need pure oxygen. I think it's oxygen rather than air. It's the canisters of stuff that you use to clean static-free things. And the people that use it, their tongue starts rotting away. I can't remember which one it is, but I think it is the torrent in the canister air. And the aerosols. I mean, there's a whole bunch of chemicals in there to do a bunch of stuff. So it's not just air. And some people have that. But I imagine it's not as bad as huffing pure butane. Or, now we're on to weird stuff. So we have, what is it? Methylated spirits. What is methylated spirits? Let's see. Denatured alcohol. Okay. So methylated spirits, what we call methylated spirits, you guys call denatured alcohol. In South Africa, methylated spirits is colored purple. And at one point, I don't know whether it's still a problem, but when I was a kid, so about 20, 30 years ago, there was a problem of a lot of homeless people drinking methylated spirits. But if they drank it with the coloring in it, they would die quickly. So what they would do is buy a liter of methylated spirits and a loaf of bread, pour the methylated spirits through the loaf of bread to get the coloring out, and then they would drink whatever came out, and then die slower. So that was a thing as well. Cheers, OVS. I hope you have a good one. Look, where there's a will, there's a way. It's basically the moral of the story. Could very well be. Yeah, I mean, all the stuff that you're huffing that does something to you is probably just eating your brain away. And that eating the brain away is the high. Yeah, I mean, that's very true talk. Yeah. Lots of people have tried to ban stuff. I mean, they do it in prison, like the prison brewed wine. So, where there's a will, there's a way. Yeah, I mean, the bread works as a nice filter. Nice filter, nice. A filter of some description. Desperation will make people do a lot of weird things. Yes, talk. That's very much. And yeah, that sounds like a big problem, Grog. NyQuil is, yeah, what is it called here? It's probably cough syrups, or not cough syrup. Okay, we do have Nightcall. It is from Vix. Okay. So, yeah, cough medicine of some description. Well, one of the pharmacies I used to go to, they used to make rent by selling under-the-counter cough medicine. So people would come in and ask for this very specific brand of cough medicine, which was like 25% alcohol. And they would buy like 4 bottles. And the pharmacy was like, we just don't ask questions. Can't stop them buying it. They're going to give us, they're going to buy it somewhere. So we take the money. That's eye-opening. Good evening, morning, or afternoon, Philip. For me, it is just turned afternoon, 12 o'clock. I hope you're doing well. Yeah, smoking's bad. It's also a bitch to stop. I did smoke for 15 years. 15? Yeah, about 15 years. Quitting was very hard. And it's really not healthy for you. I have played Space Engineers for a very short time. I do prefer the survival crafting games overall. I'm also quite fond of some role-playing games, but a lot of current role-playing games are like story first, role-playing game second, so I tend to not play them. I get storied out in my day job. I do not personally play Rust, but I do watch Will Jim sometimes. Actually, I watch him every week because it's a decent little storyteller. I don't know, just little. He's a decent storyteller, so I do watch Rust videos from him specifically. But I do avoid Rust because it's multiplayer. I'm not really into multiplayer at the moment. Talk. We could. The thing is, today there is a AI that can do that for you. As horrible as that is, you can generate video using a text prompt on one of the new AI models. So if I was going to animate it, I would do that. So you can get a much clearer vision going through. Also, the Corridor crew came up with a method to animate live action. So you record live action and then you pass it through a bunch of stuff, and then AI generates an anime version of it. So that's also a possibility. Fair enough, Grog. Fair enough. No, it's not really toxic players and all of that. If I play a PvP game, then I expect PvP stuff. It's just I play very weird hours. I'm very super inconsistent, so playing with other people and they kind of rely on me to be around, it's just not going to work. Whereas if I play single player, I can play now for an hour and then go do some more work or whatever, and it's not interfering with anybody else. Good day, Doctor, 2007. It's not good to hear. It's never, cancer diagnosis is never great. And yeah, we're getting there. The voice is getting better, stronger every day. Yeah, I mean, jet fuel, there was that case recently where on one of the destroyers, no, aircraft carriers, they had jet fuel leaking into the potable water, so everybody on the ship was getting sick. That was a big thing. And management officers knew about it for a very long time, but they did nothing about it. So I think there's a class action lawsuit going on about it. No, they used, what did they use? They used a software add-on plus decoder or image generating thing. So they had the image generating thing generate each frame, and they had software to keep the generations consistent in between each frame. I do still play Magic. Every Friday I play Magic. Andy, it is currently 12:06 in the afternoon. I'm glad you made a post. I have played, I've put several, hundreds of hours into Terraria. So, I mean, a lot of these games I played a lot when they first came out and then haven't played them again for 10 years, sort of thing. So Terraria is one of them. I played it back, like really back in the beginning when it first came out. Played it broken and then just didn't play it again. Let me just change this. There we go. It's a bit better. Yeah, Hasbro's definitely doing their best to mess up the Magic the Gathering. I mean, when you got 8+ sets coming out every year, it's ridiculous. So, we'll see how it goes. Yeah, I mean, both of which are quite high octane. So, I mean, we can do it quite easily. The trick with steam engines isn't necessarily generating the heat, it's keeping the seals right so that the steam doesn't escape, or keeping the structural integrity so it doesn't blow up. So I played a lot when I was in school, primary school, so about 11, 12. And I played a bit in high school, and then I didn't play again for 20 years until about 2 years ago. I needed a reason to get out the house, talk to people, make physical content, you know, just go out and do stuff. So I got into Magic again. So it's more about talking shit and playing Magic than the, Magic. Philip, I am from South Africa. It's GMT +2. Fair enough. But, when you work from home and you don't have a reason to leave the house ever, really, you do need to go out and, Also, being internet peoples, being online all the time, it's good to go to a place with non-internet people who aren't terminally online So you could talk about an internet thing and they go, what are you talking about? And you go, oh, okay, it's not as important as one would think. So there's that. Neck starting to seize up a little bit. But such is life. Yeah, it's a hard thing to find. Because, I mean, you can say going to the movies, but you're not interacting with people. You're just going to the movies. So it's very difficult to find a hobby where you can interact with people, but, you know, in a limited and controlled environment. Oh, this is the Boeing thing with the whistleblower who got murdered. Or deaded, rather. He wasn't murdered. We don't know if he was murdered. Look, I think when quality control lacks, these things are bound to happen. We've seen it with cars. It's no surprise that it eventually happened with planes. It's just, you know, a car breaking down is you can pull over to the side of the road. A plane breaking down is you can fall over to the side of the road, I suppose. Talk. I mean, also look at the community centers. Sometimes they have nice, interesting programs. Something that might catch your eye. Because back to the Boeing 737 thing was like a door flew off in one. I'm trying to remember. There was a couple that happened recently. Engine fell off one, I think. So we had something similar here in South Africa, but it wasn't the manufacturer that was causing the problem. We had budget airlines that just weren't doing any maintenance, so they would have engines fall off and then wheels fall off and all that stuff. Good afternoon, Redvex HK. Hope you're doing well. Fair enough. Talk. Fair enough. I mean, maybe Facebook groups? I don't know. I don't use social media, so I wouldn't have a clue on what to do. Fair enough, fair enough. Just accidentally slipping, unlocking the door, tripping, falling over a rail, and then plunging. Yeah, I mean, I can understand that it happens all the time. So, I suppose I'm playing Magic the Gathering, so I'd imagine most people don't want to spend too much money on their hobby. So Warhammer's pretty expensive. But yeah, I mean, my local LGS does board games. So you can go there and rent a board game for the night. Problem is you have to go with your own group. So there's that. So finding new people to go with is a bit of a problem. That's not good, Redvex. Sorry to hear that. Yeah, Carpenter. I did see a clip of that. It was from a documentary on one of the news channels. That's more telling than a lot of other stuff, when the employees are just like, nope, I don't fly. I'm just not going to do that. I mean, perfectly understandable, to be quite honest, but... I'm really, really sorry to hear that, Redvex. I know it's tough to lose someone. Sorry, I'm not ignoring you. I'm just making sure everything is running smoothly. Yeah, there's lots of weird stuff happening. I mean, I think, was it Ford? No, it wasn't Ford. Ford had that car that kept exploding into fireballs. I want to say it was Ford. Could have been Mazda. But again, big difference between a car carrying 3 people on a road that you can pull over on and a plane carrying hundreds of people that fall out of the sky. I'm doing as well as can be, Redvex. Getting there. Physio every day, strengthening the voice. Started doing some recording, which is always good. I suppose... Well, yeah, it was the Ford Pinto, yeah. Also, one of the supercars had a problem very similar. And the Explorer. I mean, I think all the major car brands have had that problem. Hell, Tesla has problems as well. But again, 3 or 4 people versus hundreds falling out the sky. Yes. They kiss the ground with force. They want hugs. What am I doing? Work stuff. Need to generate 2 nights. Images. Start working on 2 nights. Yeah, I did see that bridge incident. That sucked. And the only thing I can say is at least it was like 1 o'clock in the morning, I think, so the bridge wasn't super busy, but it still sucked. Can't remember what comic book it was when somebody... Oh, it was... I can't remember what it was. Where somebody was talking about learning to fly, and it's like, nope, you aim for the ground and you miss. That's how you fly. You intentionally miss the ground. Yes, Grog. And I bet that once you get to the crash site, it's a race between the plane and the recovery crew. And I bet that the plane gets there first. I don't know whether it's a term, but it works. I do know what you mean. I mean, it sucks with cars. It really sucks with planes. I think the only way you can miss the planet is by really, really trying hard. Riven Wine, I have listened to some of his stuff. Booth Junkie. I'm not buying mics on a regular basis, so I've got one. So looking for reviews on mics is like, well, I've already got one. But some of his stuff is quite interesting. He has a very interesting video where he proves that you don't need a good microphone to do decent work as a voice actor. He uses his phone. And most people have a decent phone, or a phone, with a recording app. What matters is the setup of the room more than the microphone. Which goes to what I normally say is, the more expensive the microphone, the more mistakes it picks up. So you don't want an expensive microphone when you first start out, because it'll pick up all your mistakes. But as you get more and more competent, you can get better and better microphones because you're making less mistakes. Kinda. If that makes sense. Sorry, I'm not ignoring you guys. I'm not looking all over the place. I'm just doing work stuff. No, still in South Africa. We are working on getting out. We should be out in the next 6 to 9 months, hopefully. But, yeah. It's one of those things. Fair enough, Redvex. Good morning, Kandaria. Hope you're doing well. Look, I mean, for the first 3 years, 2 years of the channel, I had a blanket fort. That was my studio. I nailed wood onto my table as uprights, and then nailed wood across for verticals. Horizontals, and then I just packed blankets and pillows and everything I could on top, and then I squirreled my way into it, and that's where I recorded. I'd get heat struck most of the time, but it worked. Never underestimate the power of a blanket fort when recording. And it's cheap. That's not good. Blizzards suck. Both the company and the weather phenomena. Currently, we are planning to immigrate to Portugal. Due to some personal circumstances, immigrating is a bit more challenging than with most other people, so that's where we're going. It's fine. I mean, I can imagine Siberia gets quite a lot of blizzards. Yeah, the stuff that you see on my walls. Just give me a second. So, turn the camera a bit. See this brown stuff? This brown stuff here that's on my walls? This stuff. This is from a material shop. It is cheap. It is, what do they call it? It's quilted bedding material. And you buy it by the meter. So I bought that and I nailed it to my wall. And covering all 4 walls and that stuff is probably cheaper than buying 1 pack of acoustic foam. And it makes a big difference. So after that, any additional gains that you make in noise isolation is fractional. So it's a good first step. If you really want to get technical, you could buy, what do they call it? A foam bed cover, and nail that to the wall. That'll work as well. That'll work better, in fact. Good morning, Eddie. Hope you're doing well. Thank you, Tails. Much appreciated. Oh yeah. The problem is I live in South Africa where it's hot as hell. So there's no air movement in a blanket fort, so it gets hot. Even this studio is 3 to 5 degrees hotter than ambient temperature. That's why I got an aircon installed. No, it's not as thick as moving blankets. But I do have, behind in my green screen, I've got underfelt, which is what you use on carpets, between the carpet and the floor as a sound deadening material. So I've got that wrapped around there, and then the blanket, the green screen covering that. So that absorbs sound and doesn't bounce it back. Let me find the stuff I'm talking about. Right. Just give me 1 second. I'll show you my next upgrade, my cheap upgrade, my budget upgrade. Let me just move this to a... Right, so what am I doing? This, then this, minus that. We add that back in. Nope, not that one. This one? Yes, this one. Broadcast has failed again. It sucks. So, it's got the green screen. But what I wanted to show you is this. Okay, so you can buy this stuff as well. It's a convoluted foam egg box mattress topper. Its height is the height of a normal ceiling, so you can buy several and put them next to each other. And because it's made of foam, it'll absorb a lot of sound from outside. And because it's got the egg box shape, it's going to disperse the sound. So this stuff works quite well. It's also not too expensive. It's more expensive than the fabric I've got, but, you know, still affordable. Oh, and thank you, Miss M. Carpenter. We're trying to get there. Can't sit on my ass all day and do nothing for too long. The channel needs attention. The algorithm needs attention. Anyways, I think this is going to be the end of the stream. My voice is starting to get a bit tired, and I don't want to push it. But don't worry, we'll be back tomorrow. So any questions you have, you can keep till tomorrow. And there will be a video tonight, obviously, because we recorded one just now. And yeah, I hope you all have a fantastic day. An April Fool's Day. I hope you get fooled and smile and laugh and fool somebody else. Because that is what this day is about. It's about not taking it seriously. It's about having a good laugh. Because some days, that is all you need. Not even just a good laugh, just a little bit of a laugh. So I hope you all have a fantastic day. And I'll see you tomorrow.